The Coliseum back to its original 70s glory. What a scene in the East Bay. And we're underway in the John Madden Legacy game. And we will not see a run back on the opening kickoff. This will be a touchback. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And, Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden, this is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL and then in the NFL in the early 70s. Coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
And this pass broken up. The contact well timed there, and now fourth down. Wishnowski on to punt as he sends this one away. Going to be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return. And the AFC will take over 1st and 10. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD. 759, the best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in a conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And, you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. He played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon, and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft had 30 rounds then.
And the tackle going to be made at the 41 as they stop him a few yards short of the first. A gain of 8 there on the play. And that's going to bring up a 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
And he is not going anywhere. They stop him for no gain. On 1st down, Favre. And this one caught along the sideline, but they say already out of bounds. Well, the throw didn't give him a chance to turn it upfield, and that brings up 2nd down. Favre. Sanders has it over the middle. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. 22 yards on the catch and run, a 1st down. Running right, here's Sanders. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. 6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. They'll go again with Sanders. And tackled down after a gain of 3. Leaves him with 1 yard to go on 3rd down. So we're through 1 at the Coliseum in Oakland. 0-0 our score. This is the John Madden Legacy game on EA Sports. Here's Favre to throw. And he's got it. Touchdown. Deebo Samuel, an 11-yard touchdown, as his guys are first onto the scoreboard here this afternoon. Extra point by Anderson, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. No run back here for Hall, and this will come out to the 25. Now the AFC making their way out, and it's one of Coach's favorites, another local guy, Tom Brady, who will be at the controls. And boy, Coach always admired the way number 12 could run an offense, and especially his ability to stay calm under pressure.
Tom Brady is a guy who's always looking downfield. He never looks at the rush. He hangs in the pocket, and he makes a throw. He's a cool guy, and he's a tough guy. Let me tell you, there's no one calmer in the pocket than Tom Brady.
And I know that Coach has a great appreciation for Tom Brady, who turned 45 back on August 3rd, because Coach coached a guy like him in George Blanda, who played a long time in the NFL. In this game, it features legends and active players. Tom Brady qualifies as both.
Now a toss play, Allen. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down. Now the AFC going to use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. Throwing is Brady on 3rd down. And that nearly intercepted. Boy, for a guy known for his hands defensively, that's a ball he probably thinks he should have come up with. But instead, it's 4th down. They'll go for it. It's Brady. He is going to find Hill here. And he is going to have enough for an AFC first down. So how about that? They risk it on 4th down, and they're rewarded. Here's Brady. Oh, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete. But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st-round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp, actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles, with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Van Brocklin coached with the Falcons. He coached with the Vikings. And it was there during that time, I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
But Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, in 1967, Brandon, Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. You remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL.
And now a fumble. Brady loses the football. And fortunately, one of his AFC teammates able to fall on it as they will hold on to possession.
A lot of bad news on that play for them, wasn't there? Lost the football, lost a lot of yardage, but I think the good news outweighs it. Able to retain possession. That was big for them.
He'll let this go for the end zone. And, oh, that would get a wind-up incomplete. Nearly an interception in the end zone. Probably should have been. 3rd down coming up. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And a dangerous throw there as that's knocked down and incomplete.
This defense has certainly played well so far in this game, and the coverage has been tight. on just about every throw. Forced a few here so far in this game, and now it brings up fourth down.
And his kick is good. He got every bit of that one as it's good from 56 yards out. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. Well, the good news, at least they won't take that goose egg into the locker room. Maybe a little something to build on.
Yeah, it hasn't been the greatest of first halves for them, has it? But at least now, as you mentioned, they put some points on the board. And it's been funny in our experience watching games. Sometimes something as little as a field goal can change the fortunes of a team, and they could come out and look real sharp in the second half.
They'll throw on first down with Favre. Throw left side complete. That's Rice. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 26 seconds to go until halftime. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Throwing is Favre. Well, the pressure gets home, and the AFC comes up with a sack. Now another timeout called for by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Now Favre. Got a man. It's Randy Moss, complete. And he'll be brought down inside the 40-yard line. Coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by the Raiders' own Trey Mosley. And Hall not going to bring this one out. The AFC offense set to take their next drive. But, Charles, we saw a pretty entertaining first half, close ball game. Remember there toward the end of the second quarter, the opposition scored to take the lead. Now we'll see if these guys can get a score of their own to regain that lead.
Yeah, they want to have that type of a response, don't they? Because they want to find a way to take control of this ball game one more time. Gauntlet's been thrown down. They want to see if they're ready to answer it.
Gates with a grab. So just 3 yards on the completion there. And now 3rd down and 6 to go. They are in need of 6 yards here if they hope to move the chains. Brady now to throw. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Gonzalez. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. They fake the handoff. Now Brady. He's going deep for Brown. And it is incomplete. Good positioning there downfield to break that one up. 3rd quarter of a tight football game as we come up on a 2nd and 10. And Brady's throw there incomplete. So now, Charles, to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42, he just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people. That way, he was simple to understand, yet insightful for viewers. And he did with that big personality that he had, one that connected with everyone.
So a costly penalty yardage-wise as that'll move the football down to the spot of the foul.
And what the officials are looking for in these situations, whether you're playing the man or the ball. And if you're playing the man, you get a lot less leeway in terms of what's going to happen at the end of the play. But if you're looking for the football, it's less likely to draw the flag.
Looking back to the air on 2nd down, it's Brady. To Allen on the dump-off. And he is going to lose yardage here. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12. We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this third and long play as we'll get a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. Brady to throw again. And he fires one, but incomplete.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
And that is no good. And that will keep this a 4-point game. Well, close game, second half. You obviously hate to leave 3 out on the field.
Especially in a game like this when you know points are hard to come by. That was one of their best opportunities so far, and they come away with nothing.
Now, first down carry by Sanders. Well defensed as they'll hold him to just a couple. Second down coming up. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Another run here with Sanders. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went on and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
To throw is Favre. And he's going to go down. They get to him back at the 40. That time, multiple defenders getting pressure, and it's a loss of 6. And this one is no good. He missed it, and this will stay a 4-point game. This was still going to be a 1-score game either way, but still, that's a potentially harmful miss here in the 4th.
It certainly is, because if you consider that now if they give up a touchdown, they give up the lead. So he might be getting the side eye by the defenders coming out on the field now as he goes back to the bench after that miss.
And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee. Looked like some hands both ways. They got it on the offense.
And sometimes there's a fine line between being the receiver and the DB, and he knocked that one away. Might have caused an incompletion that could have been an interception.
Without the previous penalty, that would have been a first down. Instead, it's just a gain of 10. As you mentioned, CD, talking about John Madden, the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you're talking about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him. And now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving, when he used words like boom and pow. He helped create the old Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitch man. And even the Madden Cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Brady to throw. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's 2nd down. To throw is Brady. Throw left side, taken in by Hill. And he'll be taken down here just shy of the 30. Now, CD, we did get a little ahead of ourselves talking about John Madden, the broadcaster in the 90s and 2000s, because there was another product during that time period that he became quite famous for, and it's something that you and I know a little bit about, and that's the video game that bears his name. Originally John Madden Football when it was first released back in the late 1980s, and now known the world over simply as Madden.
And Coach saw this originally as a way to teach the game of football. The early designs were for a 7-on-7 game, but he said no chance. He would not sign off on it. He wanted to be as realistic as possible. He told him, call me when it's 11-on-11, and he got his wish.
Yeah, after that debut, Madden the video game continued to pick up steam through the 90s in a big way, and John himself, many will remember, was a commentator for the series for many years. And now here we are in the 2020s, and this game has sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 million copies.
Now, meanwhile, the throw by Brady knocked away, incomplete.
He didn't just deny a big throw there. He broke that one up in the red zone. An excellent play, one that may help save points on the board when this drive is over.
Back to throw, Brady. He finds his man, complete. It's Gonzalez. And he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4.
So it's a win here for the NFC. Just an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. And before we go, one final message.